Great news, Singapore is opening up to some new visa options and making it much easier to come in. If you are not familiar, I've mentioned for quite a while that Singapore is one of the most extraordinary countries in the world in many, many different regards. There's obviously some downsides for different people, depending on their values. But that being said, there's a lot to love about Singapore. However, over the last number of years, in particular since COVID, it has been extremely difficult to qualify for and get residency in Singapore. And so it's kind of removed that option from the table for a lot of people. And they have recently announced that there are some changes they're making to make it much easier for certain types of people. And so that's really cool. I'm going to update you on what some of those changes are, and we're going to dive in. Before we do, if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button, hit the all notification bell. If you like the videos, please share them with your friends, give it a thumbs up. And if it is your first time here, I'm Michael from Offshore Citizen. We specialize in customized holistic international solutions for both individuals and businesses. We can help you with international tax optimization, banking, residencies, citizenships, both on the strategy and the implementation sides. If you would like any help with that, please reach out to us. You can book a call, calendly.com/Michael-Rosmer. There's a link in the description below, or send a message through offshorecitizen.net. Okay, so what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to read really quickly from one article that mentioned this, just because there's a particular quote in here that I like because it speaks to how awesome Singapore is. So I'm a Singapore fan, evidently, based probably on, you can tell based on my enthusiasm. I love Singapore. If you have not been, best airport in the world, just go and Google the Jewel Terminal. Looking at this new terminal they built a few years back, amazing, like unbelievable. Bamboo forest, waterfall, IMAX theater, just ridiculous. So, it's clean, it's safe, tax policies are very reasonable. The weather, okay, it's humid, but it's warm, so that's good. It's great regional location, so I'm a big Singapore fan. This being said, like I said, it's been sort of closed down, and so it hasn't been an option for a lot of people. And it's great to see that they kind of are remembering themselves. So let's see here. So Singapore on Monday announced new work visa rules to woo talent as the Asian financial hub looks to bolster its recovery from COVID-19 pandemic. The measures include a new 5-year visa for people earning at least 30,000 Singapore dollars a month that allows holders to job for multiple companies at one time, and grants their spouses eligibility to work. The new visa will be available from January. So let's just start with this, because this is just obviously some information. So clearly what a lot of people are going to push back on and say right away is, holy shit, $30,000 Singapore dollars per month is quite a lot of money. And it is, right? It's, that's about, according to this, 21,445, I guess that was the time the article was written. US dollars per month, like this is high income earners. So this is definitely not for just normal, somebody who just wants to casually go there as a digital nomad, etc. But if you're an entrepreneur or investor, somebody who has substantial net worth or business, etc., a lot of our clients fall in that category, a lot of our viewers, then this is, you're probably going to pay yourself accordingly. So, not that big a deal. Let's keep going, because we're not at my cool quote yet. Singapore, a popular location for foreign firms to base their regional headquarters, tightly controlled its borders during the pandemic, leading many expatriates to leave and its population to drop for the first time in nearly 2 decades. Yeah, it's certainly true. Like, we will often use Singapore as a place for basing companies in certain cases, depending on where you're located. For example, if somebody is located in Portugal under the NHR, it's not a blacklisted country, so there's often tax planning that we can do through a Singapore company that's kind of useful. I've done a video quite some time ago talking about if you're doing a tech startup, there's some benefits to having a company based there. And so there's a bunch of reasons why Singapore, for certain people, it's always there's no one size fits all. It's always based on your individual circumstances. But that being said, definitely there are a bunch of cases where Singapore is a really attractive place to set up a company, and things can be quite reasonable. Okay, this is my quote. We cannot leave any room for investors to doubt or have questions as to whether Singapore remains open, Tang Si-Lang, the city's state manpower minister, told the news conference. As a country with little or no resources, talent is our only resource, and talent acquisition is an offensive strategy for us. I love that. Like, to me, this speaks to part of what I like about Dubai, right? Is I feel like in the world today, more and more countries are not thinking competitively. They're not thinking about, okay, how do we assess our strategic advantages and leverage it to improve our position within the world? And Singapore does, right? Dubai does. These are places that are keenly self-aware, that have vision, and are working to find ways to make themselves more competitive or remain competitive. And so that is just super fantastic. This would be why Singapore is good. And this is why a bunch of other countries are going down in a bunch of, it's something that I always appreciate. So anyway, they mentioned that among other measures, some tech professionals whose skills are in short supply will from September 2023 be eligible for 5-year visas up to 2-year to 3 years currently. The processing time for employment passes typically granted to high-paid professionals will also be immediately reduced to 10 days. So that's like really impressive. This is one of the things I talk about quite a bit going through experiences with immigration in different countries. I've immigrated to multiple countries myself, and we help many clients all over the world go to many different countries around the world. And it's interesting to see the bureaucracy and pace that it takes to go through immigrating in various places. For example, if you want to kind of immigrate to Canada, even in the best case, normally it's like a year-long process. By contrast, it's maybe a 2 or 3 week process in Dubai. Like, very big difference, right? And you can kind of ask, okay, what is it that they're doing in that 1 year time that can't be done in a few weeks? And I think the answer is they just really don't want to, right? So a lot of this can be expedited, and so it's great to see Singapore doing that. The employment pass was kind of the main way that you would get people into Singapore who weren't extremely high net worth or running a big company. There's ways that you can do it if you're willing to have a lot of money and things like that. But this was not applicable to most people. And so being able to do it via an employment pass is really cool. And being able to easily get access based on high income is also, I think, super, super awesome. So we're definitely going to work on helping people who want to go to Singapore. Obviously, it's one of many places. There's nearby Thailand, which is great in a bunch of regards. I've mentioned they have the Thai Elite visa. I'll talk more in future videos about some of their other visas that have been coming out. There's Malaysia. Malaysia has a few different visas. They had a tech entrepreneur one in Malaysia. They have Labuan Director's Visa. They have MM2H. They have Sarawak MM2H. So there's some options for going there. There's also a really interesting one in the Philippines. So, there's a bunch regionally if you're interested. Bali has, announced they're supposed to be releasing a digital nomad visa. There's also business visas there. So lots of options, but Singapore just happens to stand out as being, a very first world country where things work, and there's lots of great pieces to love about Singapore. So if you're interested in there, or if you want to relocate anywhere else in the world, if you're thinking, maybe it'd be great to have a plan B, get a residency permit in Mexico or a golden visa in Portugal or some other place, please reach out to us. You can book a call, and I will look forward to seeing you on the next video.